Hi, my name is Jacqueline. Thank you for coming to this channel and watching this video. Today it's going to be all about my experience as an intern in a Bachelor's of Social Work program. So I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm just going to jump right into it. If you've never seen one of my videos, I have some on this channel all about social work. I just graduated my school here in New England with a Bachelor's of Social Work degree. That was a 2-year program, not including the 2 years of general education classes that you would have to do on top of that. As of right now, I got into a Master's of Social Work program at the same school that I went to my BSW for, so that is where I'm at right now. So for this video, I'll be going off of my own personal experience and what my college requirements were for this internship process. And I really hope that it helps those of you who are thinking of going into the social work program or are going into a social work program and you are a little confused as to what you would experience going into an internship. So I will start off by saying that the first year of the BSW program, I'll be referring to in this as like semesters 1 and 2, and the second year I'll be referring to as 3 and 4. So starting off this whole process, I got into my first year of the BSW program, and that first semester in the fall, I was given like an application process type of thing. And that basically consisted of having to write a personal statement, which was around I think 6 to 8 pages, as well as letters of recommendation. And I think there was a couple other things. Oh, the transcripts from your school, and that's any school that you had been at, not just if you were just attending there. If you attended a community college, you would have to use those send those transcripts in as well. So there was that, and there was also a part where you got to choose what field or population you would like to go in as your first choice, and then they also gave you alternates. So my first choice for my BSW internship was mental health and or counseling, that type of thing, and I did get my first choice. Some examples of places that you could work with or populations you could work with. You could put down things like working with people of all ages. You could do specifically children, specifically the elderly, work in the criminal justice system, schools, health settings. The list could go on. And if you ever want to look up kind of where you might want to go for your internship, if they're asking you where you might want to go, if you just go online and look up jobs of bachelors of social workers or like BSW internships, that kind of thing that people with a BSW could get. So I ended up being placed in a not-for-profit agency that helped people with mental and behavioral illnesses, and I started off my second semester of the first year in this setting. So when I started this second semester, I was at 8 hours a week, so I only needed to do really 1 shift a week. I started out by shadowing. So basically when you first start out interning, at least with my college, it was just shadowing. It wasn't jumping into helping clients right away, basically. So I got to shadow a day program coordinator, and I got to go where adults would go for a day program at one of the group homes. The day program coordinator that I had was really awesome, and she taught me a lot. So that was a really good experience. And then my second year of the BSW program is when my internship upped the hours. So it went from 8 hours a week to 16 hours a week that second year of the BSW program. Now, the second year of my internship, I was doing more client-based work. So I became an RA at what my agency calls it, which is basically a recovery advocate, but basically a caseworker. So I got a client caseload of only 3 people. So it was a really small caseload, as to not like overwhelm you or anything like that. So during this year, we had to get supervision. So my supervisor happened to be a licensed clinical social worker, but basically we needed someone with an MSW or higher to be our supervisor. And we had to do 1 hour of individual supervision and 1 hour of group supervision. So the example for what my agency considered a like clinical meeting is what we called it. That was my group supervision setting, and there I got to have a meeting with the rest of my coworkers and my team supervisors, and my coworkers talked about how their clients were doing. I talked about how my clients were doing, and I learned a lot from that process because I got to kind of see what other people are experiencing, what my coworkers are doing with their clients, and some things that were said in there really helped me out in the long run. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what my supervisor gave them for advice when they brought this up, and now I am having the same problem with my client. So basically, group supervision was really helpful because I got to hear different perspectives. Well, my individual supervision was, like I said, 1 hour a week, and my supervisor was really awesome. So I could talk to her about the good things I was doing and talk to her about anything that I had questions on, any concerns, any confusions that I had. So that was really helpful that I was able to have her there to give me her own experience, her own opinion on things, and tell me how she's handled things in the past, how the agency works, that type of thing. But she also reminded me to remember self-care. And that was really helpful when I was stressed with not only not just the internship, but if I had any stresses in school or anything else, she was really helpful in reminding me to practice self-care when I got home. This next segment of the video is going to be all about my tips for an internship. Tip number 1 is that you can learn something from everyone. Whether it be my coworkers, my supervisors, or even the clients, I learned something from everyone that I came in contact with at my BSW internship. So even if people didn't have a social work degree, that say they had a psychology degree or some type of other schooling, or no schooling that had to do with that at all, I was able to talk to people and really put myself out there and start conversations with people, see what they did for their job, what they're doing. And I learned a lot from talking to people, not just in the social work field. If there were people that were doing not so great stuff in your internship, you can also learn from that as well. It's not just things that are good that you can learn from, you can also learn stuff from people what not to do. Number 2 is professionalism in the workplace. So the dress code for my place that I was interning at was pretty casual, but I dressed a little bit more than casual. I would put on a little bit of makeup, I would wear cardigans and leggings, boots, not super businessy, but I also did a little bit more than, wearing yoga pants or a sweatshirt. I wanted to be as professional as possible during my internship. That also leads me into staying organized and showing up on time, all the things that you would do if you were a regular employee at this agency. Making connections is really important, I believe, and just having the connections of your coworkers, your supervisors, your team leaders, bosses, anything like that could really help you in the short term and the long term. So I actually asked my supervisor and the day program coordinator to write letters of recommendations for me for my MSW program, and they were so helpful in that and so great, and I was really glad that I established a good relationship with these 2 women. That also leads me into the fact that you could get hired from this internship if that's what your internship agency allows or does, which mine happened to. So I was able to get hired after my internship, and I am currently working there as an employee. So I went from intern to employee, and I maintained those people as connections, and I will even have them as connections even after I leave this job. So I think you should always kind of keep in mind that you could get hired, you could get letters of recommendation, you could just really take away a lot of benefits from being professional, even if you're not getting paid for this job. My 3rd tip is to ask questions. I think I got a lot out of my internship because I put myself out there, I asked questions, and I tried to do the best I can to learn. I was really nervous at first, especially to ask questions, because I felt like it made me look like I didn't know what I was doing, but that's what an internship is for you to learn, and a really great team will help you with any questions you have, and they will not look down on you or treat you any differently if you don't know how to do something at first. Number 4 is get to know the clients for who they are. So when I first started my internship experience, I didn't know any of the diagnoses of any of the clients that I talked to. And I at first was kind of frustrated because I was like, I should be knowing what diagnoses these people have. I should be knowing, all the details of why they're here before I talk to them. But I learned after, especially after when I was going to seminar class, which if you have an internship, usually in school, there's a seminar attached to it where you can talk to a professor with your classmates during that class. It connects with it usually. That's what I had. But I was able to get some information from my professor and my classmates during those seminar classes to really look back and be like, okay, I don't need to know every diagnosis or every detail about the clients that I have or see right away, that is. So of course you're going to need to know their information at some point, but at first I didn't have access to the system where we wrote notes, so I wasn't able to look at anybody's profiles or anyone's charts at first, really. My point here is that these people are human beings and they are more than the reason why they are coming to you for help. So what I mean by that is basically to get to know them for who they are first. What's their culture? What's their strengths? What's their goals? Maybe some questions like, what's your favorite restaurant to go to? Just simple things to get to know the person, because I really do think that that is one of the most, if not the most important thing that I took away from my internship, is really being like, your clients are more than why they are going to see you. So yes, there's that. Number 5 is don't let anyone treat you like an employee. So my professors really instilled in us that we are interns, not employees. You are there to learn and not to file papers 24/7 or to be a coffee run. So I think that's just a little important note to keep in the back of your head. I think you'll know when you're kind of being treated like an employee and when you are not being taught sufficiently. Number 6 is to be honest with your supervisor. My supervisor, like I said, was amazing. She helped me with so many things. She actually helped me a lot with my papers, and if I didn't understand any of the concepts or if I had questions or I wanted advice, she even offered to read my papers after to see what she thought of it. So it was just really great that she was there for not only internship stuff but school stuff. And like I said, she was also there to remind me of self-care and to relax and how not to get drained. Things like that. Just she was really there to listen when I was just like, I'm really stressed today. It's not even about my internship. It's maybe something in my personal life or something school related. And she was just so understanding. So I really hope that everyone gets a super great supervisor like I did. Number 7 is self-care. It can be draining after a long day of interning, especially if you throw in school and homework and studying along with that. But this tip is super important because this is your reminder to get enough sleep, eat well, see your friends and your loved ones, make time for yourself, and go to therapy if you need to. A lot of times, I know my professors have said that a lot of times people can be triggered by things that they see or experience in their internship, and just having a therapist to go to during that time is really helpful. I got a lot of professors actually telling our class that, don't be afraid to go and reach out to somebody, even if it's counseling services on the school grounds. A lot of colleges have counseling services, so maybe reach out to those type of resources if your school offers that. And basically, don't forget about homework and studying and extra stuff. Don't overwork yourself. Just enjoy your time being an intern. So I really hope this covered everything that I was thinking of when I did my BSW internship. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if I can in the comments, if you would like to comment a question or anything. And I believe that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video on my experience as an intern in a Bachelor's of Social Work program, and I'll see you in my next video.